Hi everyone, my name is Taylor and welcome back to Get Your Play Online. I am so glad that everyone is joining me here today for our super fun arts and crafts session that is themed around Put Me in the Zoo. Now I don't know if you guys have read the Put Me in the Zoo story, but we're going to read it during our little arts and crafts time because well, we of course have some dry times that we need to account for with our craft. So during our dry times, we're going to read the story and then we're going to make a super fun snack that we can eat while we craft and listen to the story. So I am so excited. So I am so glad everyone's here. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and jump right in, okay? So this is what we're going to make. This is a little guy from Put Me in the Zoo. It is such a cute story, but this is what we're going to make. And to do that, these are the supplies that we're going to need. We're going to need a paper plate. On one side, mine has a design, but I'm going to be using the back side. So if you have a paper plate that has a design on it, no worries. Just flip that thing over and we will be on our way. So our paper plate, we're going to need bleeding tissue paper. Bleeding tissue paper is really, really important for this activity. You cannot use regular tissue paper. Regular tissue paper will not work the same as bleeding tissue paper. I found that out the hard way. Believe me, you want the bleeding tissue paper, okay? And if we're using bleeding tissue paper, of course we're going to need water. So I have a little spray bottle that has my water in it, okay? So make sure you have this. If you don't have a water bottle that has a little spray thing with it, you can also get a cup of water and a paintbrush and it'll work just the same. But I personally like the spray bottle better, so that's what I'm going to use. You're going to need some scissors. You're going to need some glue. And you're going to need a sheet of white paper. And you are going to need 2 markers, a yellow marker and a black marker. Now, if you don't have, a yellow marker will be optional for this, because if you have yellow construction paper, then you won't need the blank sheet of paper and the yellow marker. But if you don't have yellow construction paper, then the marker and the blank sheet of paper are going to be your best bet. And the black marker you're going to definitely need. And if you have white construction paper instead of the white printer paper, that's perfectly fine. I personally do not, so I will be using my printer paper. So those are all the supplies we're going to need for our Put Me in the Zoo craft. But before we do that, what we are going to do is go through our supplies right quick for our snack. And it's super simple. You only need 4 things for this, which is a bowl, a measuring cup, and pretzels. If you want to use pretzel sticks, that's fine. If you want to use the regular, the folded pretzels, that's fine. I personally have the pretzel snaps. So it doesn't matter what kind of pretzels as long as you have pretzels. And the same thing's going to apply for our M&Ms. It does not matter the flavor of M&Ms that you have. I personally love the peanut butter M&Ms. Those are my favorite. But if you want to use regular old M&Ms, due to a peanut allergy, that's perfectly fine. If you don't have a peanut allergy and you want to use peanut butter or the peanut M&Ms or the peanut butter M&Ms, that's fine too. It does not matter as long as you have M&Ms, okay? So those are all the supplies we're going to be using today. And so what we're going to do first is we are going to start with our to make our little paper plate, our little Put Me in the Zoo plate. So what we are going to need to do, what we need to do, sorry, that was worded funny, is pull out that bleeding tissue paper and your paper plate, because those are the 2 things that we are going to really use a lot first. And of course your scissors, because you can't cut without scissors. So I'm going to set this paper to the side because we won't need it quite yet. And I'm going to lower my camera so that everyone's able to see what I'm doing a little bit better, okay? I'm going to turn the music up a little bit. And what you're going to do is you're just going to cut out a couple of strips, 1 strip each of each color. So I already have a blue strip cut out, so I'm going to set my blue sheet to the side. You're going to cut out a thin strip of your red, and it can be a short little strip. Like, it does not need to be long at all, just because of the space that we are going to cover on our plate isn't really going to require that we have a whole lot of tissue paper when it comes to these different colors. So I have 2 sheets of orange underneath each other, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut those out. If you have tissue paper that's sticking together, that's perfectly okay. And as you cut out your little strips, you can just set it to the side. Set my pink to the side. And those are all the colors that I'm going to personally use. Oh, and make sure if you're watching, please say hi. I would love to know who's joining me today. But we have our red, light orange, dark orange, pink, and blue. So you can set these fun little strips off to the side, right? Off to the side, have them ready at your disposal, and you're going to flip over your plate to the back so that it's just the white part, the smooth white part. And we are going to cut out a lot of yellow squares, okay? So how we're going to do that is we're going to start by just cutting long strips, okay? I'm going to cut long strips. And then I'm going to just stack these strips one on top of the other. And once I have them all stacked, whoop, there we go. Once I have them all stacked, I'm just going to cut out squares. Just cut them across. And your squares don't have to be perfect by any means. It's perfectly fine if they're not. Awesome. And now that we have our little yellow squares, we're going to go ahead and cut some more, because we're going to need to use a lot of wing tissue paper here, okay, you guys? So, at least of the yellow. We're going to need to use a lot of the yellow because we're going to cover our entire plate in yellow tissue paper. And so whenever we are doing that, we're really making sure that we just cut out a few skinny strips, and then we just cut them like so. You guys are doing a great job, okay? I'm loving the work that you guys are putting in. It looks amazing. So I'm going to cut out a couple more strips before I start cutting out my squares. You guys are doing an amazing job. Really taking your time to cut out those strips. It's not a race. We're not in any kind of a hurry to get these strips cut out. Really take your time with it, because you want to be careful whenever you're using scissors, right? That's right. You guys are doing great. Okay. And I think that this might be enough yellow strips. If it's not, if we don't have enough yellow squares, I'm setting this off to the side if you're wondering. If this isn't enough yellow squares, then it's no big deal. We can just go back and cut some more out later. But for now, we're going to see if this is enough squares to be able to cover our plate, okay? Alrighty. Just cutting out squares. Awesome. Okay, so now that we have our pile of yellow squares, what we're going to do is grab that spray bottle. If you're not using a spray bottle, go ahead and grab your cup of water with a paintbrush and just paint that water all over your plate, making sure to cover up the entire space, okay? So I have my little pile right here, and if you're using a spray bottle, you can just go ahead and spray your plate like this. Just around in a circle. And then you're just going to start sticking your yellow squares down. It's really simple. I love doing bleeding tissue paper because whenever you're doing this activity with little ones, it makes a lot, it's not a big mess that gets made at all compared to if you're using paint. So with your water here is really going to act like glue. So without actually using glue, our water is serving as a glue for our tissue paper, because whenever you spray your water down and you put a thin piece of paper like this on, it really sticks to that water or that watery surface. So I'm just taking my squares and I'm going around the rim of my plate right now. Really making sure that I'm covering up as many of the white spaces on the rim as possible. You want to make sure that you don't leave a bunch of white spaces. And if you happen to lay down a piece of tissue paper and it doesn't automatically stick, you can just grab your water bottle and just give it a spritz. Or if you're using a paintbrush, you can grab that paintbrush and you can just kind of take your brush and brush on top of the tissue paper directly, just making sure that it's covered in water. You guys are doing awesome. I'm just taking my tissue paper now. I'm covering the top surface of my plate. Now keep in mind, whenever you are applying water to your plate, the more water that you put down, the longer the dry time is going to be. And you might be wondering what I'm talking about whenever I keep saying dry time. And dry time is just the amount of time that it takes for your tissue paper to kind of start drying on that plate. And whenever your tissue paper dries on the plate, it's not like we're doing like a what's it called, like a crepe paper activity where you like glue the newspaper onto something, and I don't know what that's called, I can't think of the name, but it's nothing like that. And the goal of that is to actually get your paper to stick to whatever surface, which is why you apply actual glue. That's not what our goal is here. Because we're using water, our water serves as a glue while it's wet, but as soon as the water dries, it no longer serves that same purpose, right? So whenever we're using the water, it's like a temporary glue, and as soon as it dries, the paper starts to dry and it no longer sticks to the plate, and that's what we want. That's our dry time, the amount of time it takes for the water to start to dry on our plate. And once that happens, our tissue paper will just start to kind of peel off, and that's really what we want, is for our tissue paper to peel off. And so you want to use as little water as possible, just so that it doesn't take as long to dry, because you don't want to be sitting around forever waiting on your beautiful masterpiece to dry, you know? So really keep that in mind as you're going along and applying water. The faster you move, the less water you'll have to use, because your water's not drying as quickly if you're moving faster than it can dry. So that's kind of like the goal. However, don't feel any pressure if your water starts to if your paper is no longer sticking. Just spritz some water on there. It's no big deal. It doesn't take that long to dry regardless, so you don't have to worry about it. But that's just a little bit of food for thought. The faster you move, the less water you'll use, but if you have to use more water, then it's no big deal at all. And you might notice that as you're going along, there might be yellow color collecting at the bottom where there's no tissue paper at all. And that's because your tissue paper is bleeding. And whenever it bleeds, it kind of starts to run a little bit. It becomes runny. And that's what you want, so that that color really, really spreads. You guys are doing a fantastic job. I don't know about you, but I am almost done. I'm applying the last of my tissue paper, and then I'm going to go around and see if there's any white spaces that I might have missed, and I'm going to put on an extra layer wherever it is needed. Okay. So, this is what we have. It's a plate covered in yellow right now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to pull out those other strips of our blues, our reds, our oranges, our pinks, whatever color it is that you have, and you can go ahead and cut those into some squares now. So, oops, I'm going to flip this bad boy up here, and I'm going to start cutting. And I'm just going to cut about just a few squares, because now I'm going to add one more spritz to the top of my plate, and I'm going to just stick these little squares all over in random places. You guys are doing so awesome. And I'm going to push that down so that I don't have to add more water. I really just want it to stick to what's already there, and I know if I give it a little tap, it will. Okay, so now that we have this, just like this, we're going to set it to the side to start drying, okay? And while that is drying off to the side right there, what we're going to do, sorry, I had to turn my music down a little bit. What we're going to do is just clear out any extra paper. Any extra paper that you have in your area, go ahead and just get it ready to go off to the side, okay? Because we're done with our bleeding tissue paper. And what you can pull out now are your snack foods. So your pretzels, your M&Ms, your measuring cup, and your bowl. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to measure out 1 cup of pretzels, okay? And I'm just going to hold my measuring cup over my bowl in case any spills out. And oops, it's okay. And I'm just going to pour those into my bowl. And then once you have that, you can roll those pretzels back up, set them off to the side. I'll set these pretzels off to the side and pull out those M&Ms. And with our M&Ms, I'm going to lower this a little bit. I'm just going to do half a cup of M&Ms. So I did 1 whole cup of pretzels, and now I'm going to do half of a cup of M&Ms. So I'm just going to fill this cup halfway up. Get a couple more in there. Awesome. So, whoops, I might have got a few too many actually. Pour a couple out. Okay, so half a cup of M&Ms. So this is 1 whole measuring cup, right? And I just filled it halfway up so that it's half a cup of M&Ms. And I'm going to pour my M&Ms into my bowl of pretzels. And I'm going to set my measuring cup off to the side, seal up my M&Ms, set those off to the side, and I'm just going to give my bowl a little shake. If you want to go grab a spoon right quick, then you're perfectly welcome to. However, I am just going to give mine a little shake, shake, shake. And look at how yummy that is. This is our Put Me in the Circus snack. So we have our craft done. Our craft is drying. We have our bowl of pretzels and M&Ms that is now done. And what we're going to do is we're going to set those off to the side right quick. And we are going to, actually you can start eating them, because what I'm going to do now is while our craft is drying and we have our snack all ready. I love pretzels and chocolate together. It's so yummy. But while that is drying, I'm going to start reading us a story. I'm going to put my camera up. I'm going to pause my music. And I'm going to start reading us a story, okay? So, whoops. Got to get to the beginning of it. Sorry, everyone. Just give me 1 second. I must have tapped something when I pulled it up. Here we go. Put Me in the Zoo. Can you guys see that? I will go in the zoo. I want to see it. Yes, I do. I would like to live this way. This is where I want to stay. Will you keep me in the zoo? I want to stay in here with you. We do not want you in the zoo. Out you go. Out, out with you. That's not very nice. Why did he put me out this way? I should be in. I want to stay. Why should they put you in the zoo? What good are you? What can you do? Look, now all his spots are, oh, sorry. What good am I? What can I do? Now here's one thing I can do. Look, now all his spots are blue. And now his spots are orange. Say, he looks very good that way. Now look at this. What do you see? Green spots as green can be. Violet spots say, you are good. Do more, do more. We wish you would. I can do more. Look, this is new. Blue, orange, green, and violet too. Oh, they would put me in the zoo if they could see what I can do. I can put my spots up on this ball, and I can put them on a wall. Make sure you're eating those snacks while you're listening to the story. Put Me in the Circus snacks are so yummy. I can put them on a cat, and I can put them on a hat. I can put them on the zoo and I can put my spots on you. Look at this now. 1, 2, 3. All my spots are back on me. Look now, here's one thing more. I can take my spots, I can make them 4. Oh, they would put me in the zoo if they could see what I can do. I can take my spots, or I take my spots, I take them all, and I can make them very small. And now you see, I take them all and I can make them very tall. And when I want to have more fun, I take my spots and make them 1. Yes, they should put me in the zoo, the things my spots and I can do. See, I can put them in a box, and you put them in a box called the spot box. I can take them out, they look like socks. Spot socks. And I can put them way up high. Up, up they go, I make them fly. I put them high up in the sky, my spots fly here, my spots fly there. I call them back now, 1, 2, 3. Now all my spots are back with me. Tell me, tell me, tell me now, you two, do you like the things I do? Tell me now, you two, will they put me in the zoo? We like all the things you can do. We like your spots, we like you too. Whoops. That one's a picture that keeps rotating. But you should not be in the zoo. No, you should not be in the zoo. If he doesn't belong in the zoo, where do you guys think he belongs? With all the things that you can do, the circus is the place for you. The circus! Yes, this is where I want to be. The circus is the place for me. The end. He finally found where he belonged. Isn't that awesome? I'm so glad. So now it's still wet. It's still drying, and that's perfectly okay because we do have another part that we need to do. So I hope you're still munching and enjoying those snacks because they sure are yummy. Now let's turn our music back up. Now you're going to need a white sheet of paper, or if you have yellow construction paper, that works as well. Whoops. You're going to need a yellow marker and a black marker. Now again, if you are using yellow construction paper, you do not need a yellow marker, but you will still need a black marker, and you're still going to need white paper, whether that's printer paper like what I'm using or construction paper. Either way, you will still need paper, okay? So with our markers, what we're going to do is first we're going to draw 2 circles, okay? So I'm going to lower my camera so that everyone can follow me. So we're going to draw 2 circles. They don't have to be big, just 2 regular size circles. And you're going to draw a circle, a small circle inside of that circle. Kind of like a donut. It kind of looks like we're drawing donuts, right? And once you have those circles, you're just going to color the little circle in. And then you're going to take your yellow marker and you're going to draw 2 big rainbow arcs, okay? So at the bottom of your paper, you're going to draw 1 big arc and another big arc. And you're going to color those in. Now, if you are using yellow construction paper, you obviously do not need to color them in because it's already yellow. However, if you are using white paper like I am, you do have to color them in, okay? Great. Now we're going to move on and color the next one. You guys are doing so awesome. Okay, now I am all done coloring that in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to cut out my ears, my yellow ears, and my eyeballs, okay? Cut, really making sure that you are not in any kind of a rush. Take your time. Make sure you're being careful with your scissors. And if you need an adult's help, please go ask for help if you need it. Okay? Oh, look at these ears. They look like Winnie the Pooh ears, you guys. How cute. Okay, now we're going to cut out these eyeballs. And I'm cutting mine, cutting the black lines off of mine so that the only black that will be on my eyes are going to be in the center. So you'll see what I mean in just 1 second. Oops, this is like a little oval. So you see how there's no black line around? It's because I cut it out. So that's what I'm going to do with the other one as well. If you want to keep the black lines, of course you are more than welcome to. However, I do not, so I am not. Oops, my paper fell. Oh well, I'm going to set that off to the side anyways because I'm now done with it. And now, depending on how much water that you put onto your plate, it should be almost dry. So, whenever it's almost dry, you can tell because, like on mine, some of the pieces of tissue paper are starting to come up. So whenever they come up like that, it means that they're ready to be taken off. Oops. And whenever I take mine off, I just kind of lay them down on the table. Or if you have a trash can nearby, you can definitely use a trash can as well. See, it's all peeling off. So if yours isn't quite dry yet, then no worries. Just give it some more time to dry. Go set it out in the sunshine if you want it to dry really fast. That's what I did whenever I was practicing. I set mine out in the sun, and it was done in no time. So that's another option that you have at your disposal as well. Woo. Look at that. Look at how easily they just peel off. I love it when they just peel off super easy. Some of them are still kind of hard to see because they're still a little bit damp, but that's okay. I'm going to take it off anyways so that you guys can see what to do next. Okay, so whoops, here's a couple more right here. They really blend in with the paper, making it hard to see. Okay. Oop, and there's one more right here, I think. Or no, it's not. It's just a little square outline. So, this is what our little plates look like so far. And, you know, right now they just look like, you know, whatever. It just looks like a bunch of colors on plates. But we have to give our plate some character, right? We have to give it a face. And we have to give it some features like eyes and ears and stuff so that it looks more like something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my marker and I am going to give it a nose. So, whoops, here's one more little square. I was trying to hide there. Actually, first what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue down my eyeballs. And so you can go ahead and get that glue bottle handy because we are definitely going to need the glue bottle. And you're going to, on the back of your eyeballs, just put some glue down. Oops. Put some glue down on the back of your eyeballs, and once you have that all glued down, what you're going to do is you're going to pick it up, and you are going to just stick them onto your plate. And then you're going to grab your black marker, and you're going to give it a nose. So you're going to draw a circle in the middle of your plate, and you're going to color that nose in. And then you're going to draw a line going straight down. Oop, I'm still finding little papers. Make sure you let yours dry all the way. I didn't let it dry 100% so that you guys can see what I'm doing. But I gave mine a nose. I'm drawing a line that goes straight down, and then I'm just going to draw a smile. And I'm going to go back over that smile and try to thicken it up some. And it looks so cute. And now we're going to glue our ears on. So what we're going to do is at the bottom of your ear, you're going to take your glue and you're going to make a line that goes like straight across at the bottom. And you're going to do that for both ears. And you're going to just stick those ears on the back of your face on the plate. So this is the front of your little plate now, not this, this. And the back, which is the white spot, is where you're going to glue those ears. You're just going to stick them on there. And kind of bend those ears down for our Put Me in the Zoo craft. Whoops. My markers are starting to roll and my ear came off. There we go. Isn't it so cute? You guys did such an amazing job with this. I am so happy that you guys joined me for this. So we made our little snack. Yum, our Put Me in the Zoo snack. We listened to a Put Me in the Zoo story, and then we made a Put Me in the Zoo craft. I'm so in love with it, you guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's activity as much as I did, because I had so much fun. The story was awesome, the snack was awesome, and so was the craft. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day. And remember, this week is Zoo Week, which is why we read Put Me in the Zoo. But the theme of this week is Zoo Week, so make sure you keep checking back to get your play online for all the zoo-themed activities that we have planned for you. So take care, and I'll see you next time, okay, you guys? Have a great Sunday.